Good afternoon, everyone, from here, wherever you are, based on your time zone. I greet you. Thank you for joining this live broadcast. And today is Monday, the 5th of September 2022. And of course, another day of sit at home. I know that in your area, wherever you are, it's happening. And of course, everything we're doing is to make sure that we leave this contraption and get our leader free between now and 2023. Thank you so much for joining. It's another day to discuss some critical things that concerns us as a people. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and I welcome you to Biafra Global Network on the platform where we speak the truth and where we're focused on our freedom and the freedom of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So many things have been happening. Of course, it's normal that we would always have, when it comes to freedom fighting, you're going to have to deal with so many factors, both the ones that are, positive and the ones that are negative, and they are all part of freedom fighting. Today is Monday. I don't know how you're doing where you are in Biafra land, but I know that in spite of the sit at home, we are also praying hard for our leader, and we're praying for the next phase that will take us to our freedom. Remember, these are critical times, and you have to be very careful wherever you are in Biafra land. You must make sure that you mind where you go, who you have information with, you discuss with, the things you discuss in public, the people that you discuss with, the places where you sit to discuss, the bars you go or the places you go, and how much you divulge or give information about where you are or what you are doing or who you are relating with, and of course how you discuss matters that concerns our freedom and of course that concerns Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You must also make sure that in your phones you are able to secure every information that is vital to freedom. You must make sure that you have an extra place or an extra access to preserving and keeping, covering, and securing vital information so that we can all see Biafra, because we need you also to be part of the new Biafra. Aside the fighting or the moving into our freedom, the actions we are taking to get to our freedom, there are so many things we are doing behind the scene to make sure that as soon as we get into our freedom, we begin to develop our land very fast and quickly, so that every one of us will begin to enjoy the benefits of the fight and the labor that we're putting. And then all the blacks all over the nations of the world will begin to troop in to see how they can also change their countries and their nations. The Kenyans, the Somalians, the Moroccans, the Egyptians, the Liberians, and everyone, Togo, Ghana, everywhere, they will begin to look forward to making sure that things begin to happen in their own countries for the betterment of everybody. I welcome you to this broadcast. Sorry, that's a brief introduction. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and I have come to discuss something critical that concerns every one of us. Of course, we know that 2 days ago we had on Radio Biafra our leader's wife coming and making some important things about herself and how she thinks, her opinion about the concept of what is happening. And one thing you should understand is this: even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it. He said that he's ready to give up everything for the fight. He always says it. He sacrificed his mother. He sacrificed his mother and his father by jeopardizing their security, because what he was doing actually, what he meant by sacrificing them doesn't mean that he took them to be killed. What he meant was that what he was doing was going to put them at risk, and yet he was doing what he was doing. He didn't care. And he said anybody who turns against what he's doing is actually his enemy, and he's not going to spare anybody. And of course, we know that in the course of things that concerns vital things as freedom fighting and all of that, people will always have their opinions. It doesn't mean that if you are the wife, you must understand very well, or you must understand what your husband is doing, or you must agree to him 100%. And it doesn't mean that as a husband, you must understand what your wife is doing. But it's just there's a point of agreement and understanding. And of course, basically, as you heard from her, she said most times is always scarce. Sometimes her husband is far. Sometimes they talk in weeks. They may not even talk. They may just talk on phone. They may not even see, which means that there's so many important things that the husband may have information he has about this whole thing of the freedom that she doesn't have. And of course, we know that she has not been anyways active in the realm of freedom. So the broadcast was actually a design to aid a group of people. If you observe critically, those of you concerned, you discover the questions that were posed were unnecessary. Just imagine, just look at it analytically. Every of the questions asked were unnecessary. The pointer, what they were driving at, was the issue of what she will have to say about DOS and what Biafrans should think about DOS, about structure. That was the major reason for that interview. Every other thing were just imagine, just observe it, just look at it very well. You discover that the questions were just going and going and going to the point where he came to the climax of that. That was the main intention for that broadcast or for that interview. And of course, it had been arranged anyways. Please come and validate what we're doing. We are working, and we are doing some things now to. We know that we made our mistakes initially. Manipulation, deception. We call it deception in the use of power. That means abusing your power to make it look like you are actually doing some stuff. And of course, she fell into that trap, and she allowed herself to talk on a matter that is so complex. And of course, I have made a Mazin Samuel said last broadcast, last night, on the 4th, yesterday night, he said that we shouldn't actually discuss that matter or any of it anyways. And yes, I agree to that too, because it's one of the distractions. But some other people say that we shouldn't actually, we should consider her the situation she's in and all of that. So we shouldn't actually attack her and all of that. And we are not attacking her, but the truth about it is that she actually didn't respect that or regard that position of the considerations Biafrans are given. And the fact that she's actually should be going through some stuff. So we try to, so if she had the mind and to come publicly to castigate Biafrans, to tell them that the decision to sack these guys was not right, and that they should reinstate them to their position, then we should have the right also to talk about why we cannot reinstate them because of the vote of no confidence based on the facts and that we have pointed out. We have so many things we have pointed out. Well, they a leader of a nation who appointed them as officers to serve in the office that he is in control of. Remember, as I told you, command and control simply means that the order comes from Mazin Nambikano. And then everybody in that DOS that has been appointed to serve in that office of DOS actually carries out the order. It is not that the people he appointed there should actually, give the orders. No, it is that he gives the order. That is why he said, DOS is me and I am DOS. He didn't say Chike Doziem is me and I'm Chike Doziem. He didn't say Chinans Muhammad Abbas is me and I'm Muhammad Abbas. He didn't say Nenaya Anya is me and I am her. He didn't say any of those people, in that position who were occupying that position then are me and I am them. He said DOS is me. What is DOS? Directorate of States. And what is Directorate of States? It's instituted by the ideology of Biafra. It is a structure, a part of the whole structure of IPOB. It is not the structure. It is a structure. And that structure is who Mazin Namdekano is. That means DOS is Mazin Namdekano, which means that DOS is the is the command, and then the unit of control, which means when he gives the command, they carry it out. And of course, you can prove it. We can all prove it, that all commands that he gave after his extraordinary rendition were not obeyed. The people who were to carry it out because they saw he wasn't available they actually thwarted it, and then they worked against it. And of course, you know that by facts, they are part of those who actually connived to kidnap him. You can see that Soludo had actually said that they are working with him um, on issues that concerns his government. That means they are now anti-freedom, because anyone working with any Nigerian politician is anti-freedom. You are actually working against the concept of freedom. So our leader's wife came to make some points, and we have taken notes. We have heard her opinion, and of course we also have our rights to accept and reject any of the opinions that she made that are not important to the cause of freedom. We've gone beyond the point where sentiments would be used. Even Mazin Ambikano does not apply sentiments when it comes to freedom. He tells you, if my family works against me, I work against them. Anybody that works against me, I work against them. So he's actually a real freedom fighter. Real freedom fighters don't consider sentiments. But for the fact that we want to make it not look like we are just fighting internal battles, and we are not concentrating and dedicating our time to the enemy, which we know that this is the time when they need to really feel us very strongly, and they have to feel us and also know that it is a useless venture to have kidnapped our leader. That is why we don't need to begin to bring out this. We disagree with her on those facts, but we keep them to ourselves and then focus on the work that we are doing, the mandate of freedom. That is why we're here. Now, that is why I've come to talk to the One Nigerianists. And who are One Nigerianists? Anybody who is sabotaging freedom is a One Nigerianist. Whether you think that you believe in Biafra or not, as you are doing is against Biafra freedom. It's working against those who are working for freedom. You are a One Nigerianist. So we categorize you as a One Nigerianist. So I've come to talk to you today. Now, one thing that we should understand in life is this: everything that has to do with life has a inside it, a place where the things that are hidden. That's why we have the concept of mystery. Mystery is a governing point, of life's secrecy, where life matters are actually hidden, and for those who are mentally taught to dig them out. Mystery encapsulates or or engrosses the concept of the definition of true life definition, where you need to discover by the use of your ability to search or to research or to make or to seek. That is why Jesus said, in Matthew chapter 5, he said, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened. Life is about asking, seeking, and finding. When you ask questions. When you ask questions, that was why Mazin Ambikano came to teach, because he knew that the questions of Biafra, or the questions of life as a people, or as indigenous people of Biafra, were so enormous. We came into the world to see ourselves that we are slaves to Nigeria, being a proxy of British brutishness, And of course, we now had so many questions. How did we get here? What made us? What put us in the concept of Nigeria? How did we become Nigerians? These are the questions. That is why, the Bible says, Jesus said, ask, which means that the questions that we ask, whether you ask them orally by words or you ask them by your thought or by your action, because every of our action, by running away from Biafra land, it means you're asking the question, why am I in this land? Why am I suffering? Why am I going through this? And you begin to look for solution. By going to Lagos or going to any part of the contraption called part that has been joined in the contraption called Nigeria, you're also looking for means of answering the questions of being Biafran, and of course seeking greener pastures in other places is another way of asking questions, trying to seek answers to the questions that you have in your mind. So that is why we see that life is about asking. And at the point of asking, you make research. And when you make research, you begin to receive information. The information that you receive helps you to seek for answers. And then you begin to find answers. And then when you begin to find answers, you now have access to the doors where these things are hidden. That's when you begin to knock and then the doors begin to get opened. So these are the processes of life. And now we want to look at we want to bring it down to what I'm trying to talk about here. To be able to ask and seek and find, it requires a level of mental toughness, a level of mental richness. What do we mean by mental richness? If you talk about mental richness, then you can know that there can be something called mental poorness or mental poverty. What is mental poverty? The inability to actually reason out facts and the ability to strain or brainstorm into the ability to get answers and to find avenues to access what you need to access in life, covering the concept of ask, seek, and finding. Because you access by the time you knock. When you knock, you have access to the door, and then you can open the door. When you ask, you have the questions, and you begin to receive inspiration to seek the information, the acts in the pattern of the information, and then you begin to find answers. The answers gives you direction to the doors you need to knock and begin to get opened. As a one Nigerianist, because you are a one Nigerianist, it is a proof that you are mentally lazy and you are impoverished mentally. That is why the word sluggish or sluggard is used in the Bible. The word sluggard means lazy, someone who is slothful, someone who is finding it difficult to take action. And laziness does not mean your inability to go and get a job, because even to get a job, you need mental toughness to seek for the job. Laziness means that you find it hard to do the things that you need to do that will help you achieve or find or do the things you need to get and do and get results or achieve anything you want to achieve in life. When you have found yourself in Nigeria, born into Nigeria, and you cannot find or ask questions about why you are in Nigeria, which is a bedrock of slavery that is instituted by the British activities of the British colonial power. When you find it hard to ask questions about how you became a Nigerian, and also to take the actions and the information you get about being a Nigerian into context of seeking how to become not a Nigerian. When you fall in love with the name Nigeria, because most of us have just fell in love with the name Nigeria. The name looks fine. Why don't we remain being Nigerians? We like that name, Nigeria. It's nice. It's beautiful. We're already known by that name. Why do we want to stress ourselves? Why do we want to get into serious conflicts, or why do we want to endanger our lives rather than accepting the norm, accepting our position as slaves? Why do we want to just get into the point where we rather than concentrating on eating and looking for money to eat, we're now hiding in bushes because we're fighting to get our freedom? Now that is where the mental sluggard cannot actually take action. I will to you that one night are lower than ants, because that is the topic here. Who is a one Nigerian? A one Nigerian is one who is sabotaging the fight for freedom. Of course, you know what Medabas and others are doing. They have been sacked rather than them proving. One thing about that is interesting, that can be of actual proof of who you truly are, is when you are doubted and you can go extra mile to prove that you actually can be trusted. Doing whatever you can do, especially when it has to do with collective interest, the interest of both others and you. What do I mean by those in the DOS have been doubted based on the facts we have on ground? Some of them were part of the kidnap of our leader. Some of them sold them out by collecting money, but some of them got into being misled and deceived by these ones who sold them out because they are getting beats. Some of them know that these people don't want to know. They don't want to know that whether they sold them out or not. They are just concerned about what they are getting, the Nzama, the tips that are coming from them to buy recharge card, to become e-frogs on the internet, jumping from one platform and to the other, commenting foolishly. You know, they are comfortable with that. They send them 500 recharge card, 500 naira recharge card. They can buy it and to get that to get data for 200, and then they use it to, and rice to and fish and cook concoction, and dry pepper, cook concoction and eat. At least if that comes every week, and they know that they buy 2 cups of rice, it can feed them for 2 days, and then they can look for the others to feed themselves for the next time, and so they are actually feeding on their foolishness and their sluggard nature and personality. They have become too lazy to sacrifice for freedom, so that they can enter into the position of plenty. Now, one Nigerianists, some of them are just yes people. They follow the crowd. Oh, we are Nigerians. We are Nigerians. No, don't tell me anything about Biafra, because all they see when you hear Biafra, all they hear is that you'll be jailed and you'll be locked. They're not looking. They're not thinking critically to know why Biafra is, why we're talking about Biafra. They're not thinking toughly and mentally. So they embrace Nigeria not because they know anything about Nigeria. They don't want to know anything about Nigeria. They just want to be comfortable. They don't want to be stressed. They don't want to be dragged into anything that will bring conflict. They just want to be in their comfort zone as long as Fulani has not come to cut off their necks as they have been doing to other people, to their position. Just like somebody was saying in the video, Mazi Salman Ekpa played yesterday, he was saying that Nigeria has happened to them now. It has happened to them to their bones. It has entered the bone. Nigeria has happened to them to their bones. It's funny, but it's critical. Some people who are one Nigerianist today are not one Nigerianist because they want to be one Nigerianist, but because they want comfort. They want to relax in their norm. They don't want to be stressed into knowing why they shouldn't be one Nigerianists. These are one of the people. Another set of people who are one Nigerianist are people who actually have information about how they became became Nigerians, but they don't want to do anything about it because they don't want to get into the danger or endanger their lives to be free. We want to just let them have their daily bread, have their families, go around, do what they have to do daily, and then live their lives, and then live and get old and die, and then life goes on. Whatever happens after their death, that's their business. Also, some people are one Nigerians, not one Nigerianist, not because they don't know that freedom is good, but because they want to capitalize on the fact that you are fighting for freedom to cash out on you. They are not interested in freedom. They are just evil to themselves and to the generations to come, to the generations they live in and to the generations to come. So they want to cash out in the concept of your concern about being one Nigeria and your concern to gain your freedom. So they are just wicked. Those ones are deep. So another set of people who are one Nigerianists are people who actually see you as a threat to what they gain by being a Nigerian, especially those ones who have friends in politics, those ones who are doing contracts, who are making money from the system, who are also eating from the crumbs the British and the Fulanis are throwing around, who actually, especially the politicians, the business people, most of them, and those ones who, of course, have built houses in Lagos or built houses in Kanu or elsewhere in the zoo or in the contraption. Those ones who, some of them are living abroad, they are comfortable with their families now, they are okay, and of course they can just come home and prove that they are bosses. They want to come to the village and just let people worship them and say, yes, he has come from abroad. So the people in the village should keep living like village people, and they will go and pose like people who are city people coming from a developed society. They are not ashamed of themselves that they are the one-eyed person in the midst of blind people. Because if one day their eyes is blocked, everybody goes into trouble. The whole system goes into chaos. So these are the groups that make up the one Nigerianists. Why did I now say that one Nigerianists are lower than ants? Remember, it is their inability to reason constructively that makes them one Nigerianists. They fail to reason constructively because one, it's either they don't want trouble, they don't want anything to happen to them, they just want the norm to continue. They don't want things to change so that they don't get into trouble, so that they can keep eating every day the usual bread and garri they eat. They don't want anything that to give them discomfort. So getting into the realm of discomfort to get freedom is not something they want. So they want to remain one Nigerianists. The other ones too also see you as because they are wicked to themselves and to their family, to their lives, and to their future. They actually see you fighting for freedom as a means of making money. So they betray you, they stab you, they do everything, just like those who have sold our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They betray him, they betrayed him, they are still betraying him, they're still trying to destroy his legacy, they're still trying to do lots of things to scatter what he has done. These are one Nigerianists. In spite of the fact that they are Biafrans, they are one Nigerianists, because you cannot sacrifice your freedom on the altar of foolishness. So these are the people we call the sluggards. Now these people are related or talked about in the book of Proverbs chapter 6 from verse 6 to 11, and the Bible talks about the ants in that place. Now I want to make you understand, as I said, that one Nigerianists are lower than ants in their reasoning. Now of course we know that human beings are made above animals. As a human being, you don't work with instincts alone. Every created thing has an instinct. Everything that is created is instinctive. If a fowl knows that it has to move around and just pick food and then drink water, and then mate with the female, and then procreate or brood over its eggs. These are instinctive. They don't have sense. By instinct they know they have to do all of this. There are things that are instinctive. A monkey jumps from one tree to the other. A monkey does not look for shirts or all of that. It's an instinct. He doesn't think of falling down when he wants to jump the other tree because it is inbuilt in him or in it. The monkey is instinctive. Every animal, the fish is instinctive. They know they have to survive in water. They need to. They prey on the others. The one species preys on the other, and all of that. Just like animals too, it is instinctive. The dog knows that it has to stay with it. It has this instinctive nature of staying around humans and feeling loved and all of that. It is instinctive. Instincts also are in humans. There are some things that are natural without. We just know that we have, we are instinctive. We know that we have to walk. We know that we have to raise our hands. We know that we have to eat. These are instinctive. That's why a newborn baby can breathe. It's instinctive. It doesn't need to be taught how to breathe. Just gets born and the baby is breathing. Breathing is instinctive. So everything about created things, living things, are instinctive. Now, what differentiates a human being from an animal is the ability to reason. Now, that is where we are coming to. That is the point we want to come to now. But here now, we have come to characterize the one Nigerianists as people who are lower than animals, who are lower than ants. Now, ants are not animals. Ants are insects. Insects are instinctive. An insect knows when to get its food, to gather its food, when to run. If you put a piece of bread here right now and an ant comes to it, if the ant picks it and starts going, as soon as there's something around that gives it a signal that there is danger, it lifts the food away and run. That's what the ant does. Now, the Bible now says in Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6, it says now that you sluggard should go to the ants. Now, why did the Bible now have to direct sluggards to ants? Not even animals. It's directed the human being to something that is even lower than an animal, an ant. Now, he talked about a sluggard. Now, I have told you here that sluggards are not only people who are lazy by not going to look for money to eat. No, sluggards are people who are mentally lazy. Because even the man who is lazy to go look for food to eat is also mentally lazy. Because he cannot exude his mentality to think about the benefits of looking for what he needs to look for and gain what he has to gain. And so he dwells on that realm of his ignorance, and then he becomes a sluggard and suffers the consequences of being a sluggard. Now, mental laziness has to do with the inability to take action against what is bothering you or something that is working against you, or the ability to take action to benefit you. Mental laziness has to do with your inability to process information and process it very effectively. That is why those who are following those expelled people in the DOS or defunct DOS are actually mentally lazy, because they cannot process information, they cannot analyze situation, and they cannot look at things judiciously and constructively and come up with their own information or their own results. They have to depend on people to manipulate them, even if we know that some of them are doing it intentionally, not because they actually have, because of what they want to do for their stomach. They want to feed their stomach. So I'm actually talking about them, yet still they are all part of the whole process of mental laziness, because they are looking at their stomach, they are retarded in their reasoning. They actually have to accept the low ebb of foolishness to give in to criminals, and so they become part of the criminals. So they think of their stomach first. Mentally lazy people only think about stomach. Mentally lazy people. Now look at the ant. Do you know that the ant, when the ant is going with the food and discovers a danger, it drops the food and runs away, because it knows that everything is not about the stomach. You have to survive to be able to take care of the stomach. First, survival is important. That is why there's something called fundamental human rights. Fundamental human rights is actually the survival wing of democracy. Fundamental human rights actually provides your ability to be able to live so that you can enjoy the benefits of life. Without the principles of the fundamental human rights, you cannot enjoy any other thing in life. So through the facts that are made available for you to actually have your rights and to carry out your rights, you become positioned to enjoy every other benefits. So that is what the ant does. It runs away into the hole or looks for a place to hide. And it doesn't think of the food. Even if the ant is hungry, it knows that it needs that food, but it runs away. It goes to hide. Now that now brings me to how the point of analyzing this one Nigerianists. Why did the Bible talk about the sluggard, the lazy man, these people going to the ant? Why didn't he say they should go to animal, they should go to the dolphin, they should go to the monkey, they should go to the orangutan, they should go to the gorilla? Why didn't he say they should go to mammals and at least a level of intelligent animals? He tells them to go to the ant. Now let me read from the Bible. Proverbs chapter 6, from verse 6. He says to them, he said, go to the ant, thou sluggard. That means go to the ant, you lazy man, you lazy woman, you mentally lazy person who cannot reason properly. And of course, we know that now one Nigerianists cannot reason properly, because why? Why do we say so? They are Nigerians. They don't know why they are Nigerians. 2, they don't even know how they became Nigerians. 3, they don't even understand what it means to be a Nigerian. 4, they don't even understand countries are not created by human beings, but are created by divine arrangements. They don't even understand all of these. No country in the world was created by any man, but by divine arrangement. Whether people came together to decide it, it has to be the people who are part of it who come together to decide it. The Biafra nation was created by the people who are indigenous to it, sitting together, migrating from Egypt, and then coming straight through Ethiopia and other parts of the Sahel, and to live in the Biafra region, the eastern part of the western hemisphere of Africa, and yes, they came all the way from that way down to Africa. They are Biafrans, and so they decided to compose a nation. And over 5,000 years ago, they did this. They took this action, and Biafra has been existing. And of course, 100 years plus ago, are not indigenous. They actually came with the mindset of slavery, and then came on, took advantage of the system, subjugated the people, killed many of them, took some of them slaves, and then imposed the concept of administration, which favors their business of slavery and other parts of the business that makes up the Royal Niger Company. And then they decided to name you by that business. They disregarded your ancestral position. They disregarded your ancestral power. They disregarded your ancestral root. They said, rather than calling you by your name, they decided to call you by the name that one of their girlfriends, Flora Shaw, the girlfriend to Lord Lugard. Why do we even call him a lord? The girlfriend to Lugard, composed by looking at the Niger River. So Niger, okay, Niger area. This is the area of the Niger. This is the area where the river is located. The river is called Niger. So this is the area where Niger River is located. So let's call these people, these idiots who are around here, who are slaves and whom we are making business from. The trade of business, the trade of the slave trade, which is part of the business, and exploitation and taking their natural resources and everything that they have as our business in the Royal Niger Company. Let's name them together so that we'll be able to administer and also handle them very well. Let's bring them all together. Those ones called the Oduduwa Nation. Those ones called the Juguns, the Nupe people, and everybody. Bring them together. The Hausas. Let's bring them, and Biafrans. Bring them together. Let's call them Niger area people. That is Nigerians. So they now call us Nigerians, and then they now use it as a business means. And then they now created a management board which constitutes the Fulanese and few of those they brought from the south. They are the company directors. They now make them the company directors to be administering and to be carrying out their own selfish purpose on their behalf, and then they can also steal, so that they allow them to steal, so that they keep stealing, and so that they will be comfortable working for them. Because they keep taking the resources through these ones. So if they steal, it's okay, let them steal. Let's pretend we don't know they are stealing, but as long as they keep doing the bid of our bidding, And so these sluggards, this one Nigerianists, don't actually want to reason all of this out. They actually don't want to get information about this, which means that they are living in insecurity. They are living in danger because they don't even know their left from right. They don't even know that they are living in danger. Just like the ant. An ant naturally is wiser than a one Nigerianist, because an ant would see danger and run right to life. An ant sees danger and runs. That is right to life. It sees danger, and the first thing that comes into it by instinct is that it has to preserve its own life. How can an ant see danger, an ant that is not having a reasoning faculty, that is even lower than an animal, see danger, run for cover, and hide itself? And a human being with the reasoning faculty and the instinct, both having them both, sees danger, rather than going to hide or saving itself, holds on to what it wants to get, the food it wants to eat, the belly, stomach infrastructure, and submits its head on the altar for slaughter. It is strange. That tells you that the ant is smarter. Now, if the ant is smarter, then where do we categorize these people? Because a one Nigerianist cannot be categorized with the ants. No, because the ants are smarter. They can't be categorized with the animals, because animals are smarter. When an animal sees danger, it runs for its life. They can't be categorized among humans, because human beings are smarter, because they have the ability to reason, like us that are now talking about Nigeria, bringing it down and getting our freedom. We have the ability to reason. So by the ability to reason, we're able to process the information that we have, and we have decided to take action, to free ourselves. And so they can be categorized in the same platform with us, because they have defied the ability to be humans by in their inability to reason. What makes you a human is because you can reason. As soon as you lose your ability to reason, you no more are a human. You are no more a human. You are now less than a human. Now that you are less than a human, the next level, of course, the next level is the animals. Now we discover that the animals do things better than you as a one Nigerianist. The animals will run when they see danger. But you as a one Nigerianist, you are not running, you are embracing danger. You prefer what will feed your stomach than what will free you and save you. You prefer your stomach to your life, so you submit your head to be slaughtered as much as you can be eating and get your stomach full. So you get your stomach full, and then your head is cut off as your stomach's full. And so you now cannot be categorized with the animals, because the animals are smarter. They run away first, and then they later come for the food if there's an opportunity. And then the ants now, which are below the ladder, now are now smarter. The ant sees danger, and the ant runs for cover. The ant sees danger, and the ant dodges. Now, but the one Nigerianists see danger, and they still go ahead to say they prefer the danger. It's shocking. These things are very, very critical. The Bible says now that go to the ants, you sluggard, you lazy man who cannot reason well, you lazy Nigerian, you that cannot process information on your mind. He's directing you to ants, not even to animals, to insects, to an insect called ant. He says you should go to the ant. You don't deserve even to learn from animals. You deserve to learn from ants, because you are even lower than ants. He now says you have to go to the ant to learn wisdom. Because I remember I told you that the ability to live life in full and gain access to everything that life portends and the benefits of life, to fully actualize life's destiny, is to assess the 3 steps of action that Jesus preferred, in this message in the book of Matthew chapter 5. He said, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened. For everyone that asketh receiveth, he that seeks shall find, he that knocks shall be opened. These 3 go simultaneously. And how do they go? When you ask first, you ask questions. Why am I in this situation? What is going wrong with me? Why am I a Nigerian? How did I become a Nigerian? Who are my fathers? Where is my grandfather from? Is my grandfather a Nigerian? Am I a Nigerian truly by nature? Am I naturally a Nigerian? Or how did I become a Nigerian? How did they process this information? Why did they now kill us? Why did they now kill my forefathers or my fathers? Why did they kill them? Because they are fighting not to be Nigerians. Why did they kill them? Because they decided to be free. Why are they now after me? They want to search my phone. Why can't I travel along the way again? When you travel, you can be kidnapped. Why are they kidnapping? How are they letting these kidnappers come in? What are they doing to make sure that these kidnappers are brought to justice? Why am I being forced to remain in Nigeria? Why are they killing those who are asking for freedom? Why don't they want them to be free? What is it that is their interest by keeping these people under them? Why and who are those who are supporting them to make sure that these people are not free? Ask questions. Ask, Jesus said, and you shall receive. As soon as those questions are asked, as a reasonable human being, as soon as you process those questions through the altar of searching, or the altar of trying to get answers, you begin to receive the answers. Now, the answers you receive becomes your raw material. It is through the answers that you receive, you begin to seek. Because as soon as you ask questions, you get answers. Because by the time you ask questions, you begin to look around for the answers. You begin to ask the right people. You begin to look for the right means of getting the answers. As soon as those answers are answered, you already have the information that you need to seek for what you want to find. So now, just like us now, we have asked questions and we have known what Nigeria is. We know the danger that is attached to being a Nigerian. We know the danger that is attached to asking for freedom. We have weighed the danger of being a Nigerian and the danger of being a Biafran. And we know that the danger of being a Nigerian is worse than the danger of being a Biafran. We have analyzed the positives and the negatives, and we discovered that the positives of being a Nigerian is never found. There's nothing positive being a Nigerian, but there's everything negative connected to being a Nigerian or even allowing Nigeria to. We have made that research, we have made that analogy, we have made all of that in broadcast, we have discussed all of that. And now we have come to the point to understand, now we have weighed Biafra in Nigeria. We now discovered that being a Biafran has the positive and the negative sides. The negative side is that we are going to lose people because they will kill some of us and we'll kill them back, and then Biafra will come. The negative side is that we're going to starve sometimes, we are going to be hiding sometimes, like some of us who are hiding, in different places at our different locations, doing what we have to do, and fighting zoo in the zoo. Also, we're also still hiding. You can't go to some places, you can't do some things. The discomfort that comes with asking, of the questions that you have asked. So we have been able to receive the answers and the information we need from asking. And now, through the process of asking, we now have answers. Now, with the answers we have, now we are seeking for our freedom. And now, through the process of seeking for our freedom, we have come to find ways to be free. And one of the ways to be free is to face the enemies squarely. One of the ways to be free is to sit at home to protest the evil that has come from the Nigeria contraption, the evil of kidnapping and extraordinarily renditioning our leader from Kenya, which is one of the risks that we envisaged, and of course, which was helped to actualize by those in the defunct DOS who actually sold our leader. Remember, I told you that DOS is just a structure, and DOS is not the people in the office. Remember, DOS, Nnamdi Kanu said, I am DOS. He didn't say I am an officer. He now said, I am a member of DOS. That means being DOS and also being a member means that he is actually that office, and at the same time, he is the executor of the factors of that office. And so the only way he's going to execute that is to also get officers along the line of that office and meet them to carry out every command that comes from him. What makes Mazi Nnamdi Kanu DOS is that he is the command. So everything he says is the features or are the features or the characteristics of that office, of that structure, DOS. DOS is the climax or the base of the other parts of the structure. Like in my analysis, when according to what the wife of our leader said, when she talked about mitosis or mitosis, and then she explained the process of cell, the cell cycle, mitosis, and then birthing the nuclei and all of that, and then forming tissues, and then from tissues to composing the organ, stabilizing the organ and the continuity of the organ, and forming the basis and the structure of the organ. I tried to make it clear here that DOS is of course we Biafrans are the organ, and of course each of us are the cells that make up the organ. And of course sometimes we split. How do we split? We split in the sense that we give birth, we produce another cell, that becomes part of the organ, but that cell also becomes attached to is developed to become a tissue. And so we all our cells make up the tissue, and then at the point of the tissue, which are the structure, the tissue is the structures, or are the structures that make up the organ. So every one of us now, just like when we split, in the mitosis procedure or pattern, or in the law of the procedure of the mitosis, we split and get the nuclei, and of course more cells are formed and created, and also composing the tissues, which is with DOS being one of the structure. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is a cell, also a member of IPOB and also the leader of IPOB, the same way he said, I am DOS and I'm a member of DOS. So you see now, the wife said he's a member of DOS, yes, but Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said he is DOS. Now, if we want to take it in that context of him being a member of DOS, of course, he is the member of the whole body, of every structure that makes up the whole body. He's a member of the M branch. He's a member of ESN. Have you forgotten? He's the commander in chief. So he's a member of ESN. He's a member of all the structures. He is the command, is DOS, because it is DOS that gives the command for the enablement of the organ. So DOS is the climax. That is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's position. Every officer working under DOS is only an officer, is not the DOS. They are only officers. You should understand that anybody, including you looking at me and can be appointed to work in that office. That does not make you DOS. That only means that you are an officer working in the DOS, which means that whether you or me, just like when they say police, soldier come, soldier go, barracks remain. You cannot be the barracks because you live in the barracks or because you work in the barracks. No, you are only part of the officers in the barracks. But the barracks in itself is the authority that gives you your mandate to work according to the order or the command of the barracks. So the barracks is fundamentally the structure that is auto government. You are working under that structure of the barracks, and you cannot be or destroy that barracks. You can be taken away from the barracks. You can be even killed for failing to do the works of the barracks. You can be sacked for not adhering to the principles of the barracks, but you cannot be the barracks. The same way also DOS being that structure like the barracks. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the order or the control, the command. And in that command, he controls the process of the information and how it is being carried out. And he controls that through the officers. So they are the ones who are to execute. Why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the structure, is DOS, is the command. So they carry it out. That is what they should understand. And that is what we should also understand. Well, I went off from what I was talking about. Yes, I was talking about these sloggers, these people not being able to reason. Now we're looking at the processes now from point of getting information. Like every one of us who are fighting for freedom now, we have been able to ask the right questions and we have gotten the information that we need. We have received the information. Now we are using the information to seek for our freedom. That is why legally we can stand, we can write to the United Nations, we can ask for partnership and diplomatic relations with countries and all of that, so that we will be able to achieve the result. That only comes because we've been able to get information from our questions. Ask and you shall receive. Now we are seeking and we have found how to get our freedom. When they thought that they were kidnapping our leader, they didn't even know it was going to help us to seek. They didn't even know it's going to be one of the ways to find how to get our freedom quickly and quicker. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said this: even if you kidnap, even if you kill me, it will make Biafra come faster. They were so foolish to understand that. They were so foolish that they couldn't understand that. If the leader of the movement said, if you kill me, it's even better because the Biafra will come faster, then you should have avoided anything that would have made you even try to attack him. Because the biggest mistake you have made is to even attack him. We have, by the knowledge we have, we know that every action you take will help us find the door. So we have sought with the information that we have gotten the answers. Now we have found the door by seeking with the information we have. We have found the door. Now we are knocking on that door, and that door will open up to our freedom. We have gotten to that stage. That is the liberation stage, the stage of knocking. That is the information we have. Now, these one Nigerianists cannot process information. They don't even understand that life is about processing and information. Life is a process. They want to remain in that level and where they would always be, they will always be okay without trouble. But they have become lower than the ants by that. So where do we place them? The Bible says that go to the ants, thou sluggard, thou lazy one who cannot reason. You that cannot reason, you one Nigerianist that cannot reason. This is what it's saying. This applies to you. Consider the ways of the ant and be wise. So one thing that one Nigerianists lack is the ability to reason. That has made wisdom elude them. That has made them not to be able to be wise. The only time you will become wise is when you begin to have the ability to reason. Because it is in the process of reasoning that you'll be able to apply the information you get in that process to be able to be wise. So one Nigerianist, this is the scripture for you. One Nigerianist means or contains those who are sabotaging, those who are fighting. As I was saying, as I was saying initially, those of you who are supporting the DOS and all of that, the sacked people in the DOS, those e-frogs jumping from one post. You know why I call them e-frogs? I've told you before that they are e-frogs. If you call them e-rats, it's like you are giving them level, because rats can cause destruction. They can enter into your house, get into you, destroy your food, destroy your documents, destroy some your clothes and all of that, and do some harm. They have abilities to destroy. But this DOS, these sucked DOS e-frogs and their e-frogs don't have the ability to destroy what you are doing, because the movement is stronger than them. The more they try to fight it, the more the movement is stronger. So all they do is they go about from one platform to the other to blackmail, to create propaganda, and to lie. You can imagine the latest lie that Mazi Samanepa said, that he said he's going to kill the leader, the wife of our leader, when he has already said that, please don't talk about your family, but talk about me. So if the person who is saying talk about me is now saying he's going to be for talking about him, does it make sense? Talk about me, don't talk about your family. So if you talk about your family, it will not end well. He didn't say when you talk about us, it will not end well. So why would he, if he meant that if you talk about your family, it will not end well, if he meant that he's going to come kill you, why would he come to kill you for talking about your family? He should be able to kill you for talking about him, and talking about him in a bad way, because I won't come after you if you are doing something that will destroy yourself. So I can only advise you about the things that will that the dangers that are there for you when you do anything that will harm yourself. Why would I attack you for harming yourself? I won't attack you for harming yourself. I would advise you. But when you try to attack me, that is when I'm going to attack you. So when he says that, please talk about us, we can absorb whatever you say, but don't talk about your family, because it's not going to end well. It simply means that when you talk about your family, you're going to endanger, you're going to bring chaos, you're going to bring problems, you're going to endanger the unity of your family, and all of that. It won't end well for you people, because you people will get into a serious situation that will affect everyone in your family. It still has nothing to do with the person who is advising you, because he's not part of your family. Why would you come to you see, that is why we talk about wisdom. Bible says that this one Nigerianists should go to the ants so that they can learn wisdom. You see that everything they do brings us closer to our freedom. Everything they do reveals the fact that they are just e-frogs. They jump from one platform to the other, and they want to talk. And when they talk foolishly. If I am advising you not to talk about your family, because if you talk about your family, it won't end well. It simply means that it's going to affect you and your family, because I'm not part of a family. I can't come to attack you because you talked about your family. Why would I attack you? Yeah, I have no interest in it. It doesn't affect me. It's not part of it's not part of my interest. It doesn't even stop me from what I'm doing, because it doesn't affect me. So why would these people come now and say that someone's going to kill this DOS, is going to kill them? It won't, what he meant by it's not going to end well is because he's going to kill the leader of our wife. I mean, sorry, the wife of our leader. Sorry. Why would he kill the wife of our leader for talking about her own family? It is simple. It is simple common sense. That is why they are e-frog. They don't reason. The Bible is now telling them, go to the ant, go to something that's lower than you, because they are smarter than you by their instinct. Go to something that is lower than you to learn wisdom. You are not wise. You are talking about he said he's going to kill the wife leader. How? He has already told the people who are going to ask, he has already told the wife of our leader to talk about him and talk about the autopilot mood that we're in. Talk about it, but don't talk about your family, because it's not going to end well. So talking about your family and it's not going to end well doesn't mean that I'm going to attack you for talking about your family. It doesn't make sense. The only way I will attack you is when you talk about me. That's when I'll react. But when you talk about yourself and I see that there's danger about talking about yourself, all I can do is to advise you. That's all I can do. I'll stop here for now. I don't want you to exceed 1 hour, so that we can. Tomorrow again, I'm going to come up with, continue this topic, but in a different way. We're going to look more on how one Nigerianists are lower than an ant, or ants, lower than ants. Please share this video, share it on all your social media platforms so that people can get the message and also understand what we're doing. And I thank you for joining, and continue to stay strong as we move into our victory. We move into our freedom. Thank you so much.